Let's be honest, Black Americans has carried the global image for decades. We've shaped the culture, led the protest, inspired the world, but too often we are left to fight alone. So today I'm saying it loud and clear. Black communities around the world need to help Black Americans, not tomorrow, not eventually, but now. Let's not play dumb. When the world thinks Black, they think of Black Americans. Hip hop, civil rights, sports styles, slangs. Our brothers and sisters from Africa, the Caribbean, South Africa, Europe, you've all been influenced by what Black Americans created. And that's not ego, that's fact. But while the world continues to consume our culture, it forgets our pain and we cry out. Too many of you all stay silent. When Africans are attacked in China, Black Americans spoke out. When Haitians are mistreated at the border, they spoke out. When Nigerians protested NSAS, Black Americans amplified it. But when Black Americans are murdered in the streets, we have the global outrage. They see silence or worse, judgment. Some call them lazy. Some say they are always complaining. But do you understand what they've survived? Do you know what they are still fighting? We don't want pity. We want partnership. Imagine what could happen if the global Black community rallied behind Black Americans. Imagine having African businesses, right? African businesses investing in Black communities or neighborhood, right? Or Black neighborhood in America, right? Caribbean media networks amplifying Black voices. Afro-Brazilian and Afro-European creators linking with Black Americans, organizing things. That's not a dream, that's Black power in international style. Watch this video, so I'll be back, right?
And I'm Tony. Our scripture today is learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Name calling hurts. It's Tuesday, and I'm Tony. And I want to invite us into a reflection on justice, right? Justice for ourselves, justice for our communities, and especially justice for Black women. Black women who have far too long carried the weight of everybody and being denied the fullness of our worth. Isaiah tells us plainly, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause. It's not a suggestion, it's a command. Justice is not optional for the people of God. Justice is woven into our faith and our civic responsibility. And when we seek justice, we align ourselves with the heart of God for this world. Plain and simple. Justice means more than laws on paper. It is about the lived experience of God's people. And for Black women, that means challenging the narratives that say we're only valuable when we sacrifice ourselves for everybody else. For Black women, it means refusing to be silenced, refusing to be overlooked, and refusing to be defined by racist and oppressive systems. Too often, society tries to tell us we're too loud, we're too angry, we're too much. But what I know to be true is that our voices have moved mountains. Our leadership has preserved families, and our courage has kept communities alive. To stand up for justice is to stand up for Black women, not because we're weak, but because when we thrive, entire communities thrive. Justice requires us to imagine differently. It requires us to see beyond the way things are and to build the way things ought to be. And that's why we can't settle for broken schools or underfunded neighborhoods or policies that push our families to the margin. Justice calls us to create spaces where equity is not an afterthought, but equity is the foundation of how we live our lives. And so for a therapeutic thought, right, or therapeutic way of being, right, we think about narrative therapy. It teaches us the power of our own stories. Too often our stories are written by systems of oppression, stories that say that we are less than, stories that minimize our brilliance, and stories that define us by struggle rather than define us by our possibilities. And so narrative therapy invites us to rewrite those stories. It says, separate yourselves from the problem. You are not what you've been through. You are not what happened to you. You are not the systems that tried to box you in. You are not the stories that other people say about you. You own your own. You're not what they called you. You are the author of your own narrative, where your dignity is affirmed, where your gifts are celebrated, and where your story is full of agency, not oppression. And so this deeply connects us to justice. Because justice is not about changing laws. It is about changing the story we tell about ourselves. And it's about how the story we tell about one another impacts our communities. And so when we rewrite our narratives, our communities shift. And the future becomes more whole. And we have a responsibility, right, to this. Justice also shows up in our civic lives, in our neighborhoods. It's in the way we vote. It's the policies we advocate for. It's the way we hold our leaders accountable. It is ensuring that our neighborhoods have the resources that they deserve and they need. There's safe housing and reliable transit. There are schools that are strong and are open, and we don't put everybody, thousands of kids in one building. It's okay for our schools to be small and thrive. And it matters that we have healthcare access. And justice is also local and personal. It's how we speak up at city council meetings. It's how we encourage our next generation to dream bigger. It's how we speak up at church. It's how we create spaces where our elders are honored. Our responsibility is not only to name injustice, but to dismantle injustice, brick by brick, until what remains is a community rooted in fairness, compassion, and possibility. So this week, I invite you to stand tall in the name of justice. Don't let people be called out of their names. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause. Refuse to be defined by systems that were never built for your flourishing. Instead, write your own story, a story of freedom, a story of dignity, a story of unshakable hope, and a belief that you're worthy. Because when we stand up for justice, we stand up for one another. And when we stand up for one another, we stand up for the future of us all, not just us. And not just our children, and not just their children, but society in general, that God's kingdom would come here on earth just like it is in heaven.
Woke up and said, wow, Black people are human after all. Let's be nice. They didn't desegregate because they loved us. They desegregated because they couldn't afford to look stupid on the world stage. And they couldn't afford to let us get too powerful without them. After World War II, America was busy trying to sell itself as the leader of the free world. You know, democracy, liberty, justice for all. All the same stuff they were never giving to Black people at home. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union was pointing and laughing. Freedom? Y'all can't even let Black kids drink from the same water fountain. And America? They couldn't bomb their way out of that bad press. So the same people who spent decades lynching us, burning us out of towns, and pretending we didn't exist, decided it was time to clean up their image. Desegregation was never about morality. It was always about marketing. One thing they never tell you about desegregation, we weren't begging to sit next to them. We were thriving without them. Black businesses were booming. Black schools were educating future doctors, lawyers, and scientists.
More good news about Africa. They are getting rid of the French. The French economy is crashing because Africa said, actually, no, you can't have my resources anymore.
Okay, I know everyone's gonna be like, oh, Africa's a continent. What countries are you talking about? So I made sure I did my research. Okay, we've got Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are specifically the Sahel region and the Sahel, and they created the Sahel Alliance, which is a block of countries in order to kick out the French people. So before this, France was getting the uranium, gold, cocoa, and then a bunch of other resources, basically for free from these African countries. And then not only were they getting those resources for free, they were storing the money and a lot of the like financial stuff in their bank, even though it was owned by these countries in Africa. And so they were like stopping access for them to get their money whenever they needed, and they were keeping all of the interest that was being collected off of the money that they were holding for these other countries. So they're no longer getting the resources for cheap. They're no longer getting that interest that they were stealing from these countries. The resources that they were getting, not only are they no longer able to sell it, a lot of it was like uranium and oil, which were energy sources that they were using for their own country. They can't have that anymore. And then on top of this, that's not even talking about Haiti. They enslaved all the people in Haiti, and then whenever the Haitian Revolution happened and they kicked out all of the French people and said, no, this is our land and we're going to take it back, a lot of people know that France actually made them repay for the damages, or repay for the money that the French lost, because they could no longer have the Haitian colony, which was silly, stupid and dumb. But Haiti, they finished repaying that debt off. I think it was in the recently, y'all. Like this, mind you, this happened in like the 1800s, and Haiti just finished paying it off. Maybe in like the 1990s, early 2000s, like just finished paying it off. But because they finished paying it off, that's the money that the France wasn't getting anymore, and so they don't get any more revenue from Haiti, and now they're not getting any more revenue from these Sahel Alliance countries, and then they're not also getting any interest, and they're also not getting the energy and the resources. So it's just like, down goes the French. And then France is like the second biggest economy in the European Union, I think only behind probably like the UK. And so it's like, this is a big like economy for the European alliance, for them to be falling off the financial cliff right now. But that is cool with me. That is cool. Hey, listen, if you couldn't make money on your own, and the only way you were making money was through exploiting other countries and other people, especially black people, then that sounds like a you problem. That's a you problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me. So that is it. I just wanted to, I know a lot of people already knew this kind of, but I went into it a little bit more deeper. And so I am super excited to see Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger get their independence from the French back. They also kicked out the French military bases that were in there. So it's just like, you can't sit with us. You can't sit with us. And politically, they are getting rid of all of the political leaders that were associated with the French as well. So they are really standing up, taking their power back, their money back, their resources back, and they're saying, we can do this on our own without you. We don't need you. We don't want you. Get the fuck out of here. Thanks. All right. Bye. Yay. Rising Africa. Ashe.
A black neighborhood is like a bucket with a hole in it, pouring water and it runs out. Everybody knows you cannot be a competitive group with no communities. But right now, everybody coming to this country got enough sense to say, I'm going to build Chinatown, Frenchtown, Germantown, Hockeytown. They build everything for their own people. And in that community, to qualify as a community, you must have three things. You must have a wholly independent economy that provides services, goods, and products, and jobs, and business and wealth-producing opportunities for your own people. That's the first thing you must have. The second thing you must have a code of conduct that tells you to buy from your own people first before you go down 2 miles down the road and buy it. And the last thing you must have elected officials that will represent you first and foremost before they represent everybody. Every time a black person runs for office now, first thing he says, I'm for everybody. And you shouldn't be running for office then. You need to go sit down and watch TV at home. Your first responsibility is to take care of those who put you in office. And then that's what you put your hand on the Bible for. And when you get sworn in office, you say this, I hereby swear on the Bible to protect and serve those who voted me into office. That's what Biden did. He swore an oath. But guess what? He got twice as much support from blacks than he did for any other group in America. And guess what? He hadn't even mentioned the word black yet in a positive manner. And after the first year.
Yeah,
you know why? Because black people put people in office and never demand anything.
Black people who are looking to rent or buy in the Hamptons, this one's for you.
My family are homeowners in Sag Harbor, which resides next to East Hampton, out in the Hamptons in Long Island. We have been here since the 1970s. My grandfather first bought his land in the predominantly and historically black neighborhood of Azure Rest. Azure Rest is one of 3 black neighborhoods in Sag Harbor Hills, Azure Rest, and Nineveh. Back in the day, it was considered a town that was undesirable. Therefore, a community of black middle-class people was formed here and expanded beautifully. And as a third-generation resident here in Sag Harbor, I am really trying to encourage black people who are looking to buy property in the Hamptons to please come look at Sag Harbor. I know that there are many desirable towns and areas of the Hamptons, but Sag Harbor is a historically black community that I'm hoping that we can expand and continue to grow for future generations to come. Sag Harbor was a true black community where it was safe for kids to run around and ride their bikes and go from house to house because everybody knew each other. A lot of those families still reside here today, and I am so grateful to know them and be a part of this community. Growing up with a safe space and community to thrive in was essential to my upbringing, and black kids deserve those communities. The house that we own today used to be my grandfather's house, and it resides on the beach here in Azure Rest. Unfortunately, as time has gone on, like in many other black neighborhoods and communities around this country, it has started to become gentrified. Walking up and down this beach when I was a child, you wouldn't see white people. You really only saw black people. Today, I see white people walk past my house every day. Before everybody comes to the comments and attacks me, please understand, I am not vouching to keep white people out. I am vouching for more black people to come in, particularly in Sands, and for black families who are looking to invest in the Hamptons to please invest here in our communities that already exist. This is something that's very personal to me and was very personal to my grandfather as he tried very hard to continue to grow the community and help it thrive. I encourage any black family who has not been to Sag Harbor to please come to Sands. It's a wonderful community. It's welcoming, it's safe, and it's truly magical.
Today we're going to talk about gentrification and how it can be used after the recent LA fires in California. Because the historically black community of Altadena needs your help right now, or this community will be gentrified. There is a link in my bio to a spreadsheet with several GoFundMes so you can help all the black families affected in Altadena, California. But what is gentrification? Well, let me tell you. Gentrification refers to a process where a neighborhood undergoes a transformation, typically marked by an influx of more affluent residents and businesses. This process often leads to the displacement of long-standing, lower-income residents who are usually black people. Due to the rise in property values and rents, gentrification often reshapes the culture and social fabric of neighborhoods, sometimes resulting in the loss of community identity and access to affordable housing for majority black communities. One of the most immediate and painful effects of gentrification is the displacement of low-income residents, especially black people who have historically lived in inner-city neighborhoods. As property values rise, landlords may increase rents or sell properties to developers, forcing long-term residents out. This leads to a loss of affordable housing options for black families who are often disproportionately impacted by these economic changes. The recent wildfires in California, particularly those that have affected Los Angeles County, have the potential to accelerate gentrification in Altadena. Let's talk property damage and the opportunity for developers. Wildfires in California have ravaged many parts of the state, including suburban and foothill communities like Altadena. If wildfires were to destroy or damage homes in Altadena, developers and wealthier investors might see this as an opportunity to purchase their land cheaply, particularly in the neighborhoods that were previously seen as less desirable or outside the immediate reach of the housing market boom. While insurance payouts and rebuilding efforts are typically aimed at helping affected homeowners, lower income homeowners, or renters often find themselves without enough support to rebuild. This could lead to a situation where developers buy up the land at a lower price and gentrify the area. After the fires, there is often a push for rebuilding with newer, more fire-resistant homes or upscale properties. In Altadena, this might mean the construction of luxury homes or higher-end townhouses that attract wealthier buyers. The displacement of black families, particularly renters who lack the capital to rebuild or purchase homes after the fire, is at a real risk. These new developments could push the remaining black residents out of the neighborhood, making way for wealthier and often whiter populations. They are already dealing with the pressure of rising housing costs and economic displacement as gentrification takes hold. Because yes, gentrification was happening before the fires. The recent fires, while devastating in their own right, could accelerate the process by destroying homes, increasing demand for housing, and opening the door for wealthier developers to buy up the property, rebuild, and sell at higher prices while paying for it for dirt cheap. To protect black communities in Altadena from the negative effects of gentrification, local leaders and policymakers would need to focus on ensuring equitable access to housing, providing assistance for homeowners affected by the fires, and supporting the preservation of the cultural institutions and businesses, the black-owned businesses in the area, addressing the underlying issues of economic inequality and environmental vulnerability. If you can give to the black families in Altadena. Like I said before, please check the link in my bio. It'll send you to a spreadsheet where there is a list of GoFundMes where you can give as much as you can. I love you, black man. I love you, black woman. Knowledge is power. Power to the people.
You know, I get a lot of hate on here and in real life because I'm a big proponent of, the black community building and developing our own community that is very exclusive, segregated, if you will. But like everything else, the proof is in the pudding. And we really don't need a historical deep dive to understand why. Because the same stuff is happening right now.
If you're new here, my name is Ariel. I bought my first home as a single mother of 5. And my HOA as of today is seeking to start legal action against my 5-year-old for touching a tree and touching a rock. They listed him under Article 7, Section 8 of the HOA and listed him to the neighborhood as a public annoyance and public nuisance to the neighborhood.
This is a child, bro. This is a child. When that video first came across my screen, I said to myself, what kind of person would wake up and record a child at a bus stop? What kind of frame of mind do you have to be in to do something like that for days, to have evidence of your complaint? What kind of society are we in? What kind of world are we in where a complaint like that is legitimized? But then I had to come to my senses and realize that we're in America. We are in America where worse things have happened and worse things are happening still to our children, right? Talking about public nuisance and whatever to the community. Come on, this is a child. This is why I say what I say about our communities. If she was in our community, she wouldn't have to deal with that. But we can't even talk about that now. It's too late for her to leave, in my opinion. Like people in her comment section were saying to leave. It's too late for all of that. She already made her investment. She made a choice. She shouldn't leave. She shouldn't be forced to leave because of this bigotry. But I'll always say that we got to make our own communities for reasons like this. She wouldn't have to deal with that if she was with us. She wouldn't. If y'all are in the area, if you are down there in Florida, Orange County, whatever, and you know people that can help her or you yourself can help her, go ahead and help her. Her information is down in the description. We got to get out of these communities, man.
All right, now here are the top 5 things we need to put into the black community right now. Let's go. The number one thing we need is grocery stores. And when I say grocery stores, I mean affordable grocery stores, not these fresh markets or these Whole Foods. We need access to fresh fruits and vegetables, and we need access to like butcher shops. And also, while we're on the topic of grocery stores, let's talk about what food deserts are. In urban areas, living more than 1 mile from the nearest supermarket, supercenter, or large grocery store is a food desert. And there's a lot of black communities that are in a food desert. Let's do the work it takes to end them. The next thing we need to do is advocate for vocational training. Bro, we need plumbers, we need electricians, we need engineers, we need nurses, we need construction workers. We need it all in the black community. We need to show these young women and young men that it's more ways than going into the corporate world to make money. Success does not have to come with a 4-year degree. And with all due respect to the men and women in these fields, vocation does expand further than hair care. The next thing we need to add, more black-owned businesses. Now, when I say we need to add on more black businesses, I'm not talking about adding on an experience that reflects the same thing Keith Lee is going through in Atlanta right now. Your product needs to be consistent. Your hours need to be consistent. Your availability needs to be consistent. Your prices need to be consistent and available for public knowledge. And also work on your customer service skills, because I don't need no attitude trying to patronize black businesses. Just be cordial, be polite, work on your soft skills. Make me want to come back. Don't act like you up here doing me a favor just because you didn't open your doors for me. You're supposed to do that. You're the owner. After that, youth activities and youth programs. A lot of what we need to do that changes the black community, it starts with the kids. We need summer programs dealing with the arts, with sports, with the sciences, with business, everything you can think of. We need to give it to the children. In sociology, there's this idea known as the third place. The third place refers to the social surroundings that are separate from the two usual social environments of home and the workplace, but in this case for kids, it'd be school. We used to go to the mall, we used to go to other people's houses, we used to go to the playground, to the basketball courts, other places that didn't involve school or home. These kids go straight home and jump on their phone, jump on the internet, and jump on the video game. These kids need so much more enrichment and input. We need spaces just for the kids, because in a lot of areas, the streets are consuming our children, especially the boys. And mentorship programs are great, but we just need an environment where a kid can just be a kid. Let's work on that first. And the biggest thing we need to put back in our community is some pride. Why do black communities and neighborhoods always have to come with the image of looking dusty and downtrodden? Grow some grass. Stop throwing trash all over the place. Throw some events around the city that don't include liquor. And most importantly, go out there and vote locally. It's so many local votes and special elections happening in between the time these presidential and congressional elections are happening. Y'all really need to pay attention, because little stuff like taxes, whether you want certain businesses in your neighborhood or not, that all happens right under your nose. I guarantee somebody's neighborhood wouldn't have gotten gentrified had they been paying attention to local politics, because the black community does not get better without us crossing off the simple things. Because if we don't start taking care of what we already got, how do we expect to attain and sustain something more?
Peace, what's going on, y'all? We are back reading Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America. This is part 2 of Elements of Functional Communities. Let's go ahead and get into it. Once black people get into a stronger position, they should not allow white people or any other group to represent them in competitive situations. To do so constitute a conflict of interest. However, for the moment, white people control all the institutions within black neighborhoods. They derive the benefit of authority, income, jobs, and business opportunities from governing in both white and black communities. Moreover, they derive what services black people receive in the product or opportunities that exist within black neighborhoods. It is now imperative that black people put themselves in position socially and politically to represent and be responsible for their own community. This will not be easy. Even when black people are duly and legally into public office, they often do not make governing decisions that are in the best interest of their black constituents. Once in office, they are often sensitive to approval ratings and need for re-election funds. Since black people rarely conduct polls or vote based on criteria other than their popularity and have little money for campaign contributions, black people seeking or holding public office find it more advantageous to secure the approval of white society. They believe white dollars will come to them while they are in office as well as when they leave public service. They harbor no such notions about the black dollar. In the case of black elected officials, they are restricted from assisting black communities because they do not control public or private resources. The dominant society makes sure that public resources follow the control of white elected officials. Protecting their own best interests, they do not want the levers of control in black hands. Most know or suspect that it is easier to ideologically and politically control and economically exploit disorganized black people who lack both physical communities and a strong sense of community. Andrew Hacker in his book Two Nations discussed how whites fear black people and hold strong belief that political control should never be surrendered to black people. Under this system of white domination, black elected officials' political power is mostly symbolic. Withholding control of public resources from black officials is a standard operating procedure. Black people will not voluntarily be given control regardless of whether the city's black population is minority or the majority. Without tangible resources and power, it is nearly impossible for the properly intentioned black elected officials or the black community to compete. So that's tonight's section on elements of functional community. Happy Monday. Okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow to do it again. Until then, y'all stay black, stay beautiful, stay dangerous. I'll see y'all.
I am currently in North Carolina. This is my grandparents' house. They had it built, designed, and everything themselves. Love it down here. The best thing about this, all of these houses are all my family members. So this is Jenkins Hill. If you didn't believe me, here is our sign, Jenkins Hill. So this is my grandparents' beautiful home, and right across the street is my great-grandmother's home. This home is the house where my grandfather was actually born in, and it's still up and standing. This one over here, this is my brother trying to have a photo shoot in my TikTok, but that's whatever. This is my pop-up's brother, so they are literally right across the street from each other. This is my pop-up's cousin. Another cousin, back there. There's a trailer over there, and there's another trailer over there. And it's great that all this land is just pure family and vibes. So like last night we went to that house and got drunk, and I only had to walk right over here. It was great. But this is what I want in my future. I want all of my family to just be in walking distance from each other, and all of us just to be able to walk out and be free on our own land. So this is the goal. I love it here.
Yo, seeing white people in the hood is so scary because it's like, yo, when did y'all start popping up here? Like, this is all we had left, and now y'all want this too? Like, I live in East New York, and I know I can't be the only one that peep, but they are gentrifying East New York like crazy. So if you live in East New York and you're not in government housing and you just have like a regular landlord, if them motherfuckers try to raise your rent, don't be surprised, because y'all know that is the first thing that starts to happen when they start moving into our neighborhoods. Like, I'll be chilling on my porch and here come Connor walking down my block with his Popeyes and his skateboard in his hand, and I'm like, damn, since when y'all be over here like this? Like, the other day I was chilling in the park by my house, and you know, the Paisleys and McKinseys, they was just running around, and I'm talking straight up blonde hair, blue eyes, like white. And I'm thinking about myself like, damn, like, you know, when the parents is, you know, outside with their kids and their kids are playing in the park, if they fall down and get a bruise, you know, we just dust it off and keep it pushing. But I'm kind of getting nervous. I'm like, damn, what if one day like the little black kids is playing with them and they playing tag or something and one of them falls? Like, I'm nervous now because I'm like, damn, is the mother gonna call the cops and start crying like, these little black kids, they attacked my daughter? Like, oh my, I'm thinking about all of that. Like, if you're black, you're living in East New York, it's starting to happen. Please have a conversation with your little kids, especially these little black boys. They cannot play with these kids the same way they play with each other. They know they're in a black neighborhood. They're very much aware that they're in the hood. So if anything happens, that's where their mind is automatically going to go to, and they will call the fucking police. And if you're a black parent and you have a little black boy, have that other conversation with them. We see what the NFL players is pushing. We see what these rappers do when they come inside the industry. We see what's going on. We see the main character and the love interest in every single movie. And if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if you're in tune with your blackness, then you already know what I'm talking about. But obviously I'm speaking in code because I don't want those raccoons to flock inside of my comments. You know, they come in packs. We know that media is programming, so we know how that's gonna go. So have a conversation with your black sons, please, especially about these little white girls. So yeah, buckle up, because there's nothing we could do about it. What the fuck are we gonna do? Tell them that they can't come to East New York? But anyways, East New York is now getting gentrified. It's happening before our eyes, and ain't nothing we could do about it. It is what it is. If they raise the rent, it's either you could pay it or you can't, and you move somewhere else and downsize. It's nothing we could do, y'all. It's happening, and that's that.
If you are black, African American, I need you to live in the Bay Area. Like, I know everybody is going to Atlanta and Houston and stuff like that, and Bay Area has great places that you can live. I want to say it's a little cold in San Francisco. It's very expensive. We need an influx of people from down there. Like, what happened to us? And if you don't know about what happened to black Americans in the Bay Area, I want you to look up Harlem of the West. I want you to look up the properties, over 10,000 buildings, businesses that we own, blocks and blocks and blocks. The government took, called the Redevelopment Agency, and they called it eminent domain. So people that moved from Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, bought all these houses, businesses, had flourishing clubs and lounges and cleaners and record stores. The government took all that and then put everybody in projects and wonder why everybody was acting crazy. And then they put the crack in. Then they tore the projects down and built these co-ops, nice townhouses and everything. Ever seen the movie Watch Kill the Messenger? They flooded the Bay Area, they flooded California, period, with drugs to fund the Nicaraguan war. This is all documented, all true. So if you really, it's some stuff that's going on. For the most part, all my people cool. Everybody I know is doing really well. You know, for the most part, their kids are doing really well. It's just that we need an influx of African American people to come. If you really care about prosperity for black people, move to California. I'm so serious. Like, we need you. We need you because we're getting pushed out in every area. And we need more mayors. We need more leaders. We need more organizers. It's just the same people. And they trying to pay their bills. And so we need y'all. So that's my message for today. Sorry for the long TikTok, but San Francisco, especially Bay Area, we need you. Come if you're here. And if you are there are others, but we already got enough of y'all. Okay, you got plenty of places to go. They don't bother you. Y'all integrated completely well off. Kudos to you. And this is not to be offensive to any other group. This is for the empowerment of a group that has been completely oppressed, killed off for the most part, systemically erased. And it's the craziest thing that I've been seeing my life. That's why I keep coming out here to figure out ways how I can help my community. It's like a village that I want to stop the genocide. So anyway, have a great day.
Check this video out real quick, and then I've got something to say.
Ever notice that when black people build an all-black neighborhood, it's called empowerment? But when white people build an all-white neighborhood, all of a sudden they're the triple K.
You know, I can't speak for black communities everywhere in America, but I know a little something about black communities here in my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. Those black communities mostly sprung up during World War II when we won the largest shipbuilding contract in America, and black families that were still working at the same farms, just as sharecroppers, not enslaved prisoners, finally escaped that shit and moved to Mobile, and they built communities. The first one, I guess, was down the Bay community, and we put an interstate right through it. The second one, I guess, would be Tolmanville and Pritchard. Now, Pritchard was a white community. When black people started moving into Tolmanville and the outskirts of Pritchard, all those good white folks packed up and left because they didn't want to be around black people. So they decimated the property value, and they built two interstates through that community. Now, the third one we could talk about, it's actually the first one chronologically. You may have heard about Africatown. Africatown was made up of the last people brought over on a slave ship well after the slave trade was supposed to be ended because a couple of white dudes got together and made a bet. And that community was just trying to figure out how to speak English. They had been here such a short period of time when slavery was abolished. They were given a little piece of swampland and they made something of it. They built a community. And we put an interstate through it. And we built two paper mills right in the middle of that community. We polluted the air. We polluted the water. We ruined the roads with logging trucks, made the whole place smell like one big fucking fart. And then we gave all the good jobs at the paper mill to the white people that had fled and gone out to live in the county and the suburbs. We just pulled wealth away from that community. But yeah, build your white community. That's the same as black people not wanting to live around white people. Yeah, that's exactly the same. Cool. Oh, I almost forgot the war on drugs, too, and how that decimated wealth in those black communities. Yeah. The triple K. You're even wearing the cross, bitch.
You want to see a predominantly black neighborhood? Hold on, I got you.
The agency filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against electric car maker Tesla. The lawsuit claims racial slurs were used towards black workers, not just by fellow employees, but by supervisors and managers. It also says black workers were segregated and assigned to some of the lowest paying jobs. BNC correspondent Ansar Hassan has more.
Electric car maker Tesla is being sued for racial discrimination, not by employees, but by the state of California.
And you have to realize that it is very rare to see a California agency file a lawsuit against the Fortune 500 companies for discrimination.
Terry Wiley is the Chief Assistant District Attorney for Alameda County, where the Fremont Tesla plant at the center of the controversy is located. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, the state's largest civil rights agency, filed the lawsuit on behalf of black employees. It comes after a 32-month investigation. The lawsuit alleges that black workers were segregated and subject to racial discrimination and racial harassment. According to the lawsuit, Tesla production leads, supervisors, and managers constantly use the N-word and other racial slurs to refer to black employees. Examples of the racist language include porch monkey, hood rats, and horsehair.
I was very surprised to see the extent of the pervasive abuse of black employees that is alleged to have occurred over the last decade.
According to the lawsuit, the complaints date back to as early as 2012. It also states that black workers were assigned to more physically demanding jobs, the lowest level contract roles, paid less, and terminated more often. And the investigation also found that Tesla retaliated against its black or African American workers when they complained or reported the harassment or discrimination.
This tells you that despite whatever efforts they made to get Tesla to correct the conduct, that they concluded that unless they filed a lawsuit, that this conduct was not going to cease. And so that's very disturbing.
Tesla responded to the lawsuit in a blog post. It calls the lawsuit misguided and claims that the company strongly opposes all forms of discrimination and harassment. Tesla says in 50 previous investigations by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing found no misconduct. Quote, it therefore strains credibility for the agency to now allege, after a 3-year investigation, that systematic racial discrimination and harassment somehow existed at Tesla. But in October of 2021, a black man won a multi-million-dollar racial harassment lawsuit against Tesla. That was followed by 7 lawsuits from female employees suing Tesla for sexual harassment.
Let's face it, when you have 10 years of this kind of almost systemic abuse of, in this case, African-American employees, the problem is that has to start at the top and make its way on down.
The lawsuit is seeking compensation and punitive damages and asking for a jury trial. In Fremont, California, Ansar Hassan for BNC.
We need black Wall Streets. We need black hubs. Guys, I didn't even want to make this video because I wanted to make sure the aesthetics were right. I've tried to record it like 5 different times and had technological issues the whole way. Like my voice is even going, but this is so important. I'm starting a nonprofit, Uni Rising, and I want you guys to keep up with me. Join in and help me. Donate just $1 at Cash App, PayPal, Uni Rising. Follow me on all platforms, Uni Rising, including LinkedIn, and look in my bio for my website that I have started. This is new, this is fresh, but I am so dedicated and I want to get this done. Everything happening in the news, everything that's constantly happening to us, we need a safe haven. We need somewhere we can economically build power and where we can be straight even when the system collapses. Everything going on with bricks and other, places, we need to pay attention, we need to stay up, and we need to start contributing to ourselves.
This team decided to try an experiment and go out to Vidor, Texas, very well known as a sundown town, to see if they were able to convince the residents of that town to allow for them to move in 5,000 black people. And they were trying to get them to sign a petition. Take a look.
Trying to get people to sign a petition. We were trying to move 5,000 black people into Vidor.
No, we don't want to sign no paperwork that you moving no in here.
What did you just say?
They don't allow it.
We're gonna prank America's most racist town, Vidor, Texas. For decades, Vidor was a sundown town and home to the KKK.
This was considered a headquarters town for the Klan.
And today, there are still racist events in Vidor that help keep its terrible reputation alive, as thousands of posts online warn black people not to visit the town.
Do not go to Vidor, Texas.
The black know not to stop here in this town. I love it.
Despite this, the city claims they're not racist anymore.
We love everybody. We're not the same Vidor that people think we are. And I would say to the people that don't think that to be necessarily true, come visit our city. You'll see exactly who we are.
Oh, they racist. You go to Vidor, man, after dark, you might not come back.
They may hassle you and all that.
You have a sign, don't let the sun go down your ass.
Do you guys ever like go to Vidor, like hang out?
Oh, hell no.
You don't even stop and get food out there.
If you go to Vidor, they will and kill you, literally.
Dead ass. You don't need to go.
Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh.
We're trying to... This is a petition here. We're trying to get 5,000 black people to move to the city. Okay. We're trying to move in 5,000 black people into Vidor. And we're also trying to get a George Floyd statue built. We're hoping to make this place kind of like the next Atlanta. So would you be interested in signing at all?
Sure. People are welcome without a petition. We're not racist over here.
It's just like free housing for like struggling like black people.
I'm not signing anything.
Are you sure you don't want to sign this?
No, I'm positive I'm not signing it.
Okay.
Ask y'all to leave.
This somehow got the cops called.
Bro, we're gonna get banned. Call Brady.
Well, I could have told them that that was an exercise in futility. We're talking about Vidor, Texas. Vidor, Texas. As if they would allow, or I would say even support 5,000 black people moving in there. Like, you saw the reaction of them, and even some black people who live nearby were saying, don't go to Vidor. And you heard one of the brothers say he won't come back alive. So that was a cute experiment. But I was really more concerned about the black guy that was actually going around there with them. I was like, dude, I don't think that you should be joining these white people on this experiment. And as you can hear towards the end, you hear them saying that the police were called because you could hear a Walmart employee saying, leave this store. And there was one group that were saying, oh, we're not racist here. Okay. Let's just be honest. We're talking about Vidor. This was a waste of time, but at the same time, it's a good experiment to see that while some people say that Vidor is no longer racist, this was a clear example that they absolutely are, and the idea of 5,000 black people and a George Floyd statue maybe would have made these people off themselves at the idea, okay? And so there's a nice experiment for people to see how utterly anti-black racists still exist in these small towns all over the United States. And the idea of black people populating there might really affect their lives. So yeah, nice try. Appreciate the effort. But to black people, just stay away from those places. And if any of them folks want to do an experiment in those places, please don't go with them. Because at the end of the day, they can't do anything to defend you, okay? Or help you stay alive when you go to these places. So stay out of those experiments, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. To everybody else, let me know what you think about this. Drop your comments in the chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, I shall see you again. Until then, please be safe.
This is why we should leave here and build our own country. Understand this. There actually have been many, and I mean many, moments in history where black people got together and built their own. The same exact thing happened through the whole timeline. White people's fixation on black people literally drove them to follow us and attack us constantly. So you want to know what would happen if black people did leave and build their own country? Haiti, they try to spin this narrative that Haiti was this horrible place struggling. You know who demolished Haiti? America and France. That's who messed up Haiti. Haiti is still paying their slave masters. People really don't understand. Black Americans bring billions of dollars and billions. They physically need us to be here. That's why they don't want to pay reparations. That's why they don't want to pay folks to go back to Africa. They could have did this, but they physically need us to actually be here in order to leech off of black Americans.
I feel like there's two cities that every black person in America should experience living at some point in their lives. Two. One is Atlanta, Georgia. This is the black Mecca, especially in the South. So much opportunity here. So much culture here. Great food, great people, great vibes, great energy. Atlanta, Georgia is definitely one city where all black people should live. And I know the rhetoric is we're full, but look at the numbers, y'all. Yes. The black Mecca is definitely changing. So yes, if you are a black person, you should move to Atlanta and give it a try. Second city where I feel like all black people should experience living at some point in their lives if they choose not to live in Atlanta is definitely Washington, D.C. or the DMV area. Because again, it's another place that's so rich in culture and history. And if I missed a city, or if there's a city you think I should have added, leave it in the comments. Let's chat.
We are the only people in this nation that do not have one single solitary community. You cannot acquire power and wealth without a community, and yet we do not have one single black community in America. That's from New York to San Diego. To have a community, you must have three things in it, Paul. You must have a wholly independent economic structure, just like you got one down in Asia town. Two, you must have a code of conduct on how you're going to treat each other, and how you're going to interact with each other, and how you're going to deal with each other and bargain with each other. And thirdly, you must have some form of governance that will control and regulate the behavior of people in your community and deal with other organizations outside your community. Blacks do not qualify on either one of those terms.
Welcome back, and credits to those creators. I really appreciate their work. They spoke all their minds right. To my global black family, we love you, but love without support is just decoration. So this is the moment to show up, not just for culture, not just for the music, but for the people who made it all possible. Black Americans made it happen. Black Americans are not your entertainers. We are your reflection. So if you care about black power, black progress, and black unity, it's time to help build us. Yeah. Enough of, oh, we are the same, we're brothers, we are this and that. Let's see us collaborate. Let's see you do businesses with us. Let's see you come invest in America, in black communities in America, black neighborhoods. Of course, Africans are wealthy, Caribbeans are wealthy. These people need us, so we need to rally around them. What about doing collaborations with them? What do you think? They are our image. I would like to see your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is a good one, or you're not in support of it? Because some people might be biased with this, right? But do not forget, it's always me, Global Gist with Beejay, your friend blessing from Africa, right? Please keep engaging with my videos. Make sure to always watch till the end to support the hood. I love you so much. Bye.